You got freedom, no hesitation or holding back. You got freedom to live your life the way you wanna live. You got freedom, time to start letting go of all your...
The Cornhusker Libertarian Brief is produced from a firmly libertarian point of view, emphasizing individual liberty, personal responsibility, and limited government. Our content is rooted in core principles such as self-ownership, the non-aggression principle, free markets, and the protection of individual and property rights. This does not aim to present a balanced or bipartisan perspective, nor will it apologize for that. We believe that a free society is built on voluntary cooperation, not coercion, and that Nebraskans deserve a clear and consistent voice for liberty. While our tone may at times be direct or irreverent, our goal is to educate, inform, and inspire engagement rooted in libertarian values. If you're looking for a conversation centered on government solutions, this may not be the brief for you. But if you believe that people, not politicians, know what's best for their lives, welcome aboard. Liberty starts with understanding. Let's begin.
Hi, I am the Cornhusker Libertarian, a father, a veteran, and a proud Nebraskan. Today I'm here to cut through the noise and talk plain about a critical issue in the current news: immigration reform that respects our laws, protects our freedoms, and honors the American spirit. The tragic unrest in Los Angeles in 2025 has sparked renewed attacks on immigration policy, with the critics quick to scapegoat open borders for the violence. But let's be clear, open borders did not cause the riots, failed government policies did. Open borders does not mean no control. It means treating people as individuals, not threats. It means streamlining the legal entry, reducing red tape, and upholding the rights of peaceful people to work and live freely. A free society does not round people up based on origin. It judges by actions, not accents. Nebraska's history is deeply tied to immigration. In the 19th century, settlers from Germany, Sweden, Czech Republic, and other European countries helped build Nebraska's farms, towns, and railroads. Most recently, immigration communities from Latin America, Asia, and Africa have revitalized cities like Omaha and Lincoln, filling critical roles in agricultural, meatpacking, and technology. Federal immigration law has evolved through the 20th and the 21st century, moving from relative open borders to complex systems of quotas, enforcement, and restriction, often to fail to meet the realities faced by workers and employees alike. Nebraska state policies on immigration have reflected both an economic need and political pressures. In the early 20th century, Nebraska welcomed many European immigrants with relatively few restrictions at the state level, focusing on settlement and agricultural development. 1980s to 1990s, the immigration population grew, and Nebraska began to address issues relative to undocumented workers, especially in agricultural and meatpacking. However, state laws largely deferred to the federal enforcement. 2006, Nebraska's illegal immigration law, LB1, passed a law requiring the state and local law enforcement to cooperate with federal immigration authorities, marking a shift towards stricter enforcement. The law also required verification of legal status and certain state benefits and employment. 2010, parts of Nebraska's immigration enforcement laws faced legal challenges for potential conflict with the federal authorities, reflecting an ongoing tension between the state and the federal roles. And in recent years, Nebraska has debated laws relative to the sanctuary city policies, employment verification, E-Verify, and access to public services for immigrants. The state currently requires public employees to use E-Verify to confirm work eligibility. Nebraska's Legislative Bill 403, enacted on April 8th of 2009, mandated that the public employers and public contractors use the federal E-Verify system to verify the employment eligibility of new hires. This requirement applies to state agencies, political subdivisions, and contractors awarded by contracts by public employers for the service within Nebraska. The law took effect on October 1st, 2009, and includes provisions for tax incentives to encourage compliance. Additionally, in 2025, legislative proposal LB 532 seeks to expand E-Verify requirements to private employers with 25 or more employees. The bill proposes penalties, including business license suspensions for noncompliance. Nebraska does not have a statewide sanctuary city policies. While some local jurisdictions like Douglas, Lancaster, and Sarpy may limit their cooperation with federal immigration enforcement, there is no overarching state law designating Nebraska as a sanctuary state. Local governments have the authority to determine the level of cooperation with federal immigration authorities, and policies can vary across the different regions. Amid the June 10th worksite raids in South Omaha, where ICE detained roughly 76 to 80 individuals at Glen Valley Foods, Mayor John Ewing and Police Chief Todd Schmatter have publicly distanced the city from federal immigration efforts. Ewing, newly sworn in, emphasized that Omaha is not in the business of immigration enforcement and that local police played no part beyond traffic control, pleading that OPD will not check immigration status.
We weren't part of the aiding function of this. We were peripheral to ensure traffic enforcement, to ensure public safety as it traversed up and down that line. As far as the planning, as far as the raid, as far as knowledge of the operation, anything of that nature, as far as entering into the building, Omaha Police Department did not have a role in that. Now, it is on a public streets nearby, and so it would be prudent to have law enforcement there just to ensure that aspect is peaceful. And then, of course, we did transfer into monitoring the protest sites to ensure First Amendment liberties were intact, first and foremost, and then just to make sure things stayed peaceful there. That was our role in this. It did not extend any further than that, and it won't in the future as well. I can assure the public that the Omaha Police Department will not be involved in checking immigration status, legal status in our community. That is not our mission.
From a libertarian standpoint, protecting the non-enforcement role of local government in federal civil matters upholds the principles of limited government and individual rights. Immigration enforcement should remain a federal responsibility, allowing local authorities to focus on the public safety and maintaining community trust. In Nebraska, immigration policy continues to evolve as the state balances its agricultural and industrial labor demands with political pressures from stricter enforcement. As immigration policies grow and the economy adapts, maintaining this balance will remain essential for both economic stability and civil liberty. The phrase open borders sparks fear for many, images of chaos, lawlessness, and unchecked migration. But that's a misunderstanding. In a libertarian context, open borders does not mean no borders. It means a freer, more efficient, and right-respecting system of movement, not the abolition of laws, security, or national sovereignty. Libertarians support borders as legitimate boundaries of jurisdiction and property. What we oppose is the bloated government using these borders to restrict peaceful people from living, working, or feeling prosecuted. A truly open society doesn't bar entry based on paperwork or political whims. It welcomes individuals who seek opportunity, contribute to the economy, and respect the rights of others. Under an open borders policy, criminal activity is still prosecuted, threats are still addressed, and immigration is still managed, but without the costly bureaucracy and inhumane policies that treat every newcomer as a suspect. It's about freedom of movement, human dignity, and individual responsibility. Nebraska doesn't have to choose between safety and freedom. We can have both by demanding immigration policies that protect rights, not violate them. Libertarians believe in the freedom of individuals to move, work, and associate voluntarily. This includes the rights of peaceful immigrants to seek opportunities and prosperity. Key libertarian principles include individual liberty. Everyone has the right to move freely and seek work without arbitrary barriers. Limited government. Immigration enforcement should be limited, focused on protecting rights rather than expanding bureaucracy and surveillance. Free market. Immigration labor fills critical jobs, especially in agricultural and industries where Nebraska depends on seasonal and skilled workers. Rule of law. Immigration laws should be clear, consistent, and enforceable, protecting property rights and contracts while respecting the due process. In opposition to welfare incentives, immigration policies should avoid creating perverse incentives or burdens on taxpayers by ensuring immigrants are self-supporting. To align immigration policies with libertarian values and Nebraska economic needs, several reform options could be considered. First, legalize and regulate work-based immigration. Create a transparent, merit-based visa programs focused on labor market needs without arbitrary quotas or caps that restrict legal entry. Second, decriminalize unauthorized immigration. Shift focus from punitive enforcement to civil processes. Allow undocumented immigrants to work legally and pay taxes while their status is regularized. Third, simplify and modernize the immigration system. Replace a complex bureaucracy with streamlined, transparent processes for work permits, visas, and citizenship pathway. And finally, encourage voluntary self-sufficiency. Immigration policies should avoid creating dependency on welfare programs, emphasizing personal responsibility and entrepreneurship. Nebraska thrives when individuals, regardless of their birthplace, are free to work, contribute, and build a life. We need more contributing members of society. A libertarian approach to immigration reform supports liberty, economic freedom, and practical solutions that reflect Nebraska's unique history and needs. By advocating for a sensible reform, we can build a fairer, more prosperous future where government limits itself to protecting rights and ensuring freedom for all. Nebraska doesn't officially have sanctuary cities, but some counties have been labeled as such due to their cautious cooperation with federal immigration enforcement. However, state law requires local governments to work with the federal authorities. This balance reflects an ongoing debate about immigration, community safety, and individual rights here in Nebraska. The message is clear. We can uphold the rule of law while treating immigrants with respect and dignity. True liberty means protecting individual rights and offering opportunities for all who seek to build a better life in Nebraska. If this message resonates with you, join us in promoting freedom and fairness across Nebraska. Subscribe to the Cornhusker Libertarian Brief for ongoing updates. Register as a Libertarian to amplify your voice, and donate to help spread the message of liberty and compassion throughout Nebraska. Thanks for watching, guys.